So let's assume you need a zoom glass for your camera and you're considering G-Master glasses, old glasses, third-party glasses, cheapo glasses, Chinese glasses. Let's see together how to pick up the best one for you. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thomas Love here from One Lens Solely, and today I'm excited because they're gonna deliver any moment now my brand new glass, which is, it's not a mystery, it's not a hidden secret, it's the new, well, new to me, 24-70 f4 Sony Zeiss glass. And I will tell you today why I picked up that one. So stay tuned, sit down, relax, because we have several aspects to tackle today. Because when it comes down to picking up the best lens for you, at least for a while, because you don't want to keep buying and selling glasses unless this is the purpose of your life. But if you want to stick with the glass and have the best out of it, well, you need to choose wisely. So right now we have plenty of glasses to pick up from, especially for the Sony E-mount, because it has been around for a while. So all the third-party companies are producing nice glasses. They became more and more capable in terms of coating, in terms of avoiding the vignetting, the distortion, so on and so forth. And Sony, they finally put at work the inheritance they got from Minolta and paired it with their research and development. They are delivering sweet glasses nowadays, G or G Master glasses, but they come with a caveat. They are big and bulky and they are expensive. So first thing to consider, allow me a digression because I've been around for a while myself. I'm not in my 20s, I'm in my 40s. So I'm trying to take the best out of the two centuries. The past one when I started shooting with film cameras, and the actual one where we have technology that can help a lot, especially in this camera body, because you can have digital audio, because you can have reframing and the camera will actually follow you as you move through the frame. And then you have many other nice aspects such as AF tracking, stabilization in body and in the glass. And so when you want to make a list of all the elements that are the priority for you, well, you need to consider them all and the size and how many glasses you have and how much are you willing to spend for that. Reason why, when I got this camera, I got it with the 28mm f2. Now, it does one thing that I hate most of a poor image quality is to have to change glasses every now and then. So 28mm, I had it on my Leica Q2 for many years and I loved it. But here at the moment I'm in Europe, 28mm, it's a bit too wide for streets because we have narrow places, narrow cities, narrow streets. And so with such a wide glass, you will get in your shot a plethora of tourists, which are always there wherever you go in Italy. And so I had to narrow down. Now, I am myself a 50mm shooter. I know there are 35mm and 50mm shooter. Myself, I prefer a 50mm. Reason why, when I had, back in the days, my Nikon D750, and I had many glasses to pick up from, I was most of the time going out with the 50mm f1.4. But coming back to zoom glasses, I experienced many ones. I had the Sigma 17-50 for when I needed to go a bit wider. I had the Canonic 24-70 f2.8 paired with the 70-200 f2.8, F-E-mount, and then I also experienced the Tamron 35-150. But all of those zoom glasses didn't spend that much time mounted on my camera because I'm just a prime guy. So anytime that I can, I switch to prime. So coming back to my A7C Mark II that I'm using right now, my priority was to have a great, well-defined prime that has good color science, good definition, and 3D pop. And to answer the needs of a Sony camera, which is setting to greenish color science. This latest firmware is quite good, but Sony cameras, they were not so reliable when it comes down to color science, so I had to match it with the Zeiss glass. And so my very first glass that I picked up for this camera, and it is on it 99% of the time, is the 55mm f1.8, which I'm using right now to record this episode. But if I want to vlog, 55mm, it's way too narrow, and so I gave it a try to another glass. It's a third-party glass which I found for a steal price. That was the Viltrox 20mm, which I experienced, which I used for vlogging, but I could not use for photos. Despite with the crop mode it would have gone to 30mm, but still the image quality was not on par with other glasses, so I returned it. And then I started scouting, because the other thing that I didn't like of the Viltrox is that I had to completely switch glass every now and then, because I had to use that one for the video, but I could not use it for photos, and so I had to switch it to back to my Zeiss. And this is a thing that I don't like, because if you follow the channel for a while, you know that I stand for the one lens only, and I try to do the best out of that one glass. And especially if it's a prime, I get used to that framing when I go around and I see my life in frames, and so I just need to capture what I see already in my mind. But let's face it, a zoom glass is more versatile. Reason why I started scouting for a zoom glass that was wide enough to allow me to vlogging, or to do the talking head like that, or to capture a whole building like Duomo or whatever I'm facing that I want to portray, and good enough if I want to zoom in and do some portraits, I don't know, about family or events or whatever is happening out there which I want to capture. Because with 55mm it's a good compromise, but it was sometimes way too narrow, especially for filming. And so I started scouting what alternatives I had in the wide zoom range. And of course 24 to 70 is a very base zoom range, and I was also considering the 16 to 35 because I had it on my Lumix and I loved it so much. 35 is good for streets and 16 is good for interiors or for the talking head or even for vlogging. So a few elements to be taken into consideration here. How much do these glasses cost? 16 to 35 f4, either Zeiss or Sony, or even the 16 to 28 from Sigma, we're talking about 1,000, 1,500 more or less. And I was not willing to go around with a glass that costs as much as my camera, because otherwise it's not fun anymore. I mean, this is not a professional body. You can do professional shooting, but it's not a professional body. So for a casual small body like this one, I tend to stay within the small and pocketable and compact and lightweight size for both glasses to pair with the body. And so 16 to 35, which is quite big and chunk, if you want the f2.8 or even the f4 from Zeiss, it was more than $1,000. And so I tried looking for alternatives, but I don't want to compromise on image quality. Keep in mind that. Reason that makes me cut off most of the times third-party producers such as Sigma. I know, guys, you are very happy about your Sigma glasses, but Sigma, they have this tendency of making a bigger and heavier construction and build anytime that they can. So anytime that you have the same focal length compared to other brands, Sigma has it bigger and heavier. So Sigma was a no-go, despite that 16 to 28 was quite fascinating, I have to say. The other thing that I was considering was, well, Tamron 24 to 70, it's a no-go by definition, because I was kind of happy with the 35 to 150, but I was not so happy. So Tamron was a no-go to me. And I have to say, other alternatives, primes, I was looking at the Zeiss 24mm f2.8 FE, no sorry, 24mm f1.8 FE, but then I found out it is an APS-C glass, and so I could not use it on my full frame. And so once I was considering 24mm prime glasses, I bumped into this Sigma 24mm f2, but still it was limiting because I had to switch it from 24 to 55 when I wanted to shoot pictures. And so I was definitely into that ballpark, 24 to 70. Now, if you have a Sony camera, even with the latest release, you might want to have a Sony glass because you have the clear zoom image when you're recording video that gives you a bit more of a range because you have the breathing compensation, not in the old Zeiss glasses, but in all the G and G Master glasses. So all these features that you have in your camera body, you can take full advantage out of them, while if you use third-party glasses, you are not. So we go back to finally, it took a while, all this process, 24 to 70, and stick with Sony. So if you want to stick with Sony, you have different options. You have the 24 to 70 f4, f2.8, G Master, G Master 2, and eventually also the 24 to 15 f4, which is a sweet glass, and not to forget the 20 to 70 f4. So that was ideally my first choice, but I have to say, I had the chance to try that glass. A few months ago, I was still in Vancouver. A friend of mine came out with this glass. He had the 20 to 70 f4, and he was all excited and he told me, try it if you want and let me know what you think. And I loved it. I loved it. I had to say it. I loved it, but I'm not purchasing it because it's a G Master glass and it's a bit bigger than the glass that I picked up, and it doesn't have optical image stabilization. But as a general thing, I have to say, Sony glasses, they are way too sharp. That translates into a clinical image, at least in my humble opinion. Please bear in mind, I come from the last century, I come from Leica, so I want a bit of romance in the stories that I'm telling. So a sharp, clinical, over-sharpened image is good if you're shooting interiors, but even then, I mean, it's nothing special, at least in my humble opinion, because when you have all the elements in the photo so well defined and the Sony color science, it's not so pleasing to me. To me, of course. For you, it might be a different thing because we are all different people, so each one of us has different priorities. So cut out the 20 to 70. Let's cut out the G Master because it's way too big and too expensive. I fell in love with this Zeiss construction. Why? Because I also never made it out of the 90s when it comes down to design. So that is applicable to clothes, that is applicable to cars, but also to glass designs and cameras. Reason why I will be the perfect target for the Nikon ZF, but I didn't purchase it. And so this Zeiss glass, it's an f4, which is quite limiting, at least in my humble opinion. I'm used to go around with an f2.8 because then of course you close it down, but you know that at least a couple of f-stops after you close it down, it's well defined and sharp. So f4, this glass is famous for its vignetting. So that's the thing I will have to do with the lens correction in post. I know about it. I know that the coating of the G Master glasses is way better. I know that the definition is way better. I know this glass comes with a bit of a distortion. I didn't get whether it is pincushion or barrel distortion. I will test it out as soon as I get it. But these are all things that are fine to me because when I want to have a great shoot, I will go back to the 55 Zeiss f1.8, while that one will allow me to keep the same glass mounted on my camera 95% of the time, because unless I have a professional shooting, so people that pay me to portray them in a given situation, this 24 to 70, despite it's not a G Master level image, it's good enough to me for a casual walk around. Now, bear with me for another digression because I've been around for a while. I traveled a lot. I have been on assignment for Google. I have been hiking. I love hiking. I love discovering this world. And so, all in all, I visited something like 70 countries in the world. And then going around with a backpack and with a bag full of glasses, that was not my thing. So, this is why I set a threshold for compromises for the size and the value of the gear that I wanted to take with me. Reason why I fell in love with the DJI Action 2 when it was the time, and reason why I tried to do the best out of one lens only. And so I have to say, 24 to 70, it's a casual zoom range for going around, visiting new cities. If you are a tourist, if you want to go to celebrations, parties, family events, whatever. This is not a professional zoom range, 24 to 70, unless you have these very good G Master ones and you are a wedding photographer. But otherwise, it's a casual. 95% of the prosumer, they have it casually on their camera. And so if you are going around casually, you don't want to have a 1500 grams, a kilo and a half. I don't know, it's 4 or 5 pounds in the other system. I come from metric because in Canada we use the metric. But anyway, 1 kilo and a half, it's way too much to keep in your hands or around your neck for a whole day, whether you are visiting a new city or if you are hiking. And so once again, compact and lightweight, Zeiss 24 to 70 f4, that was the best compromise glass, at least for my use. And so I started scouting for it. And despite it is quite an old glass, I have to say it was not cheap at all. So officially on the Sony website, I'm in Europe at the moment. I was browsing on the Sony Italy website. It was $1,000. You could find some offers here and there for 650 euros, taxes and shipment included. And if you follow the channel, you know that I was able to get it for $550 for the Black Friday and an additional $100 cashback from Sony. So I'm having this glass for 450 euros, shipping and taxes included. Try to beat that. I will have a few compromises to take in video, in shooting, in shooting stills. Whatever that is, it's very hard to beat given it is very compact and lightweight and cheap on par to Chinese glasses. I was looking at the Viltrox 24mm f1.8 and it was like 350, something like that. So for just 100 euros more, I have a Zeiss zoom range. I know, it's a threshold. Win some, lose some. Stay tuned because we're gonna have the unboxing together. We're gonna try it together. I will be vlogging, I will be shooting videos, I will be shooting stills for you to enjoy and to have a consideration in 2024, almost 2025, whether you have to go for the latest alien technology, even with the G Master glasses, or you can save yourself a few $100, a few 100 grams, and go around nice and cozy with a small, compact, cheap setup. Now, please bear with me for a second for the audio because it's super very windy, but as you can see, it's also smooth. Now, I'm vlogging with a 24mm plus the active stab, which is cropping in a while. But then I'm also having this OSS, which is helping. And so apart from my arm being shaken from left to right due to the wind conditions, and I have to say, this is not so lightweight as it was with my 55mm. So this is a better chance to see how stable that is with the OSS and the active stab working together. Now, it's not a Lumix, but it's getting almost there, I have to say. I'm very pleased because I don't want to have and use a GoPro. It's an additional battery, it's an additional weight, and so I'm no gimbal, no drone, and this might be the solution I was looking for. Now, please bear with me again for the audio because I'm trying to walk back. It's too windy over there, so I cannot reach the monument that I wanted to show you, but it's one of those days. I let you see right now. I try to turn the camera. This is the condition of the lake today, and we can eventually also zoom in and see how it works. All right. As you can see, it's quite stable as well for panning, and so I think this is the solution I was looking for. Now I will turn the monitor toward me. Guys, it's good enough for vlogging, it's good enough for portraits. Now also bear with me because I'm still waiting for the ND filter to be delivered, so I had to close down to like f16 because that's plenty of light today. But as soon as I get the ND and the wind goes away, I will try to show you again in more details how it works, how this Zeiss, you made it again. So with that, I hope you got some value out of this video. If you did, please remember to like it, share it on your social media, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the new videos to come, and I guess I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.